Hi, it's Amanda. Welcome to my channel. My hair has reached a stage again where it is asking for slight changes in my routine. This happens every few months or so as it reaches new lengths, levels of density, and generally its next developmental stage. This current exploration got me thinking about my hair journey over the past, what will actually soon be, 1 year since Big Chop. When I first started looking into natural hair, one of the first things I heard about everywhere was Lorraine Massey's curly girl method. It seemed to be the gold standard of curly, kinky, coily hair care. People talked about it in YouTube videos, but to be honest, I never did much of a deep dive into what the actual requirements were. I was too busy experimenting with my hair to see what it seemed to need. Now though, only 2 weeks from my 1 year natural hair anniversary, I'm curious about my just adherence to this partially outdated, partially still relevant, partially militant way of caring for your natural hair. So in this video, I'm going to highlight what I have found in my research are the general guidelines for following the curly girl method. As I understand, it is a lot more involved and has impacts all throughout your routine, but it can also be summed up in several bullet points. I'm approaching this video like an off-the-cuff Q&A, just because I happen to love Q&As, so I have not planned my answers. Let's chat below in the comments section on what you do, what you don't do, and what your general thoughts are on the curly method if you know anything about it, and if it has affected your natural hair journey. Naturally Curly had the most comprehensive overview of the method. So let's just jump right in. Say no to using clarifying shampoos with sulfates. They tend to be harsh and drying. Just generally, I would say don't use sulfates because sulfates are by definition drying and you don't need to. Finger detangling. Fingers are more safe and more intuitive. And I 100% agree, although there are caveats. So I have been finger detangling exclusively for a few months now. I swear by it. I even did a short on it. I'm always saying don't use tools. My reason for that is when I'm finger detangling, and this is the whole intuitive part, if I am finger detangling a section and I get to the bottom where my hair gets really tangled, if it's going to get tangled because it's coily and it coils upon itself and it, tangles. That's how the tangles at the bottom happen. If I am finger detangling my hair and I get to the bottom and I have a knot that can be worked out with some slip or with just some, slight maneuvering or just rubbing my fingers together to loosen a knot, I'll do that. If I was using a comb, whether it be the widest tooth comb that you can fathom, it's still gonna rip through it because the comb is not intuitive. If the comb sees a knot, it's just gonna break through the knot. If your fingers see a knot, you can undo the knot because when you break off your hair with the comb, you have created a rough end. Another reason why you're supposed to be using sharp hair cutting shears, not just like the scissors from like a kindergarten class or anything like that, or your kitchen scissors that are used to cut meat and cut, pennies. I don't know, whatever you're cutting. You want a sharp scissor because you want a nice clean cut. If you are just breaking off the hair with a comb, you are creating a rough end. So you either have an issue because you have a knot or a split end or whatever it is, or you have an issue higher up your strand because you just broke off your hair. I think finger detangling makes a lot of sense, but, and this is like a recent discovery and I am working through this process right now, my styles have been getting very frizzy and I think it's because I only finger detangle. You've seen that like lovely smooth look you get when people use detangling brushes and I don't get that anymore. I would say yes, finger detangling if you're talking about the utmost care you can give to your hair, but at some point aesthetics are gonna come into play and I'm probably gonna start using a tool, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it. I will always go into finger detangle first because I don't want knots. And I think when I finally get to the end of my fairy knots, my single strand knots, I will be in a better position. I feel like those knots grab onto other pieces of hair and it just makes for more little entanglements at the bottom that I don't wanna rip through. But my process would be, and this is a lot of people's processes, I think that Natural 85 does this as well. You finger detangle, you go in with a wide tooth, and then you go in with a detangler. I don't know if I'm gonna go in with a detangler, but I would consider doing a really good finger detangle, going in with a really good wide tooth without the seams like along the teeth of the comb, because those can snag your hair, just like like my nails, just like really sharp, jagged nails, like my nails, just like really sharp, jagged nails. Maybe if my hair is so incredibly detangled, I might go in with like one stroke from a detangling brush, but it wouldn't be to detangle, it would just be to smooth things out. But that is TBD. I have to start experimenting. I haven't done that yet. But I mean, at the top especially, I feel like I need to have some kind of additional combing situation. So that's finger detangling. I could talk about it for another 20 minutes or so, but let's move on. Shampoo once a week for wavy hair, every 10 days for curly hair, and co-wash once a week. And for coily hair, cleanse as little bit as possible and co-wash. So I am coily. I cleanse my hair once a week. I co-wash if I happen to be reviewing a product where their collection includes a co-wash. But there were several weeks in a row, maybe even like 2 or 3 months in a row, where I was using shampoos, and I think my hair is doing very well. I have had experience where I've had itchy scalp, and I feel like if I have had that experience, that means that I need to shampoo. I can't co-wash only. Yes, there are co-washes now that have a little cleansing qualities in them, but they also have amazing shampoos out there. There are really gentle ones, like the Classy Hair Classy and Whipped, like the Camille Rose, the Sweet Ginger Cleansing Rinse. One that I'm reviewing right now, the Taibei Naturals African Black Soap, even that is moisturizing. And then the Bo Peep Black Rose. I mean, like, there are so many moisturizing shampoos out there with amazing ingredients. No sulfates, of course. I feel like, why not just use them if they work? But again, this is my hair. I know that there are a lot of people out there with coily, kinky, curly textures, and they only co-wash. I mean, good luck. If it works, it works. Number 4, low manipulation. 100%. That I'm all for that. I'm actually 2 days post taking out the style. I usually put it up on day, I have something in my hair. It's a piece of popcorn. I usually put it up on day 2, but I didn't, just because I honestly just didn't have time. And I'm still trying to come up with a style for this week, so I wasn't really able to. But anyway, I'm all about the low manipulation. Low manipulation is a thing that grows your hair. Growing your hair is all about the length retention. And for me, I know that I'm using the best ingredients that I can for my hair. So my hair is growing. So it is a fight to maintain that length. You maintain that length by not ripping out your hair. How do you not rip out your hair? Low manipulation. I don't think I'm ever going to be a protective styler. I don't want to get like mini braids or mini twists or whatever and leave them in for like a month or 3 weeks or anything like that. But I am all for just leaving your hair alone. I have actually done a really good job of not touching my hair. Yesterday, I found myself touching it at one point, so I just wrapped the end of it because it's so big I couldn't really fit the whole thing in there without coiling the ends on each other. I just tucked the back part into a scrunchie, and then I put my silk cap just under it. The top of the cap was like back here. It wasn't for a style, but I just kept my hair away because I am not touching my hair during the week. Low manipulation, no manipulation. Other than putting my hair up when I do that, because obviously you have to manipulate your hair to do that. But I put it up and then I don't touch it again until pre-poo. No use of non-soluble silicones. So I just don't use any silicones. I know that dimethicone is a water-soluble silicone, but honestly, I haven't really done, and the thing with silicones is that they leave a film on your hair. So I guess the water-soluble ones could technically be rinsed out. So as long as you're using it in like a shampoo or a conditioner or something that you'll rinse out of your hair, the silicones won't sit there and form a film over your hair. To keep it simple, and I don't really feel like doing too much research into this, I just don't use silicones. It's just not necessary because there's no fragrances. So I mean, again, my research is pending on this. I understand that fragrance it's such a general term and you don't actually know what it means. You don't know what's actually going into it. On my website, by the way, you can search for products that don't have a fragrance if that's something that you would like to avoid. I know for some people, they just could be really sensitive or really sensitive to fragrances and then it could irritate their scalp. I don't happen to have that problem. And I do like a good smell. I mean, it doesn't really wear in my hair. I feel like my hair doesn't really ever smell like anything, no matter how good or how bad the products might smell. But I mean, for me, as much work as it is, washing my hair is like my self-care day. If you're gonna bring along a nice fragrance for me to enjoy while I'm washing my hair, just bring it along. If I come across in the future that there's something terrible about using like fragrances, or when you see like the essential oil fragrance blends, then fine, I'll cut it out. But right now, no alcohols. So I assume by no alcohols, they mean no drying alcohols. There are a bunch of them. I don't remember them offhand, but there are also alcohols that are non-drying. So I have come across, I think sterile alcohol is one of them. I think that might be like a non-drying alcohol. I use products with sterile alcohol, and this is not something that I go out of my way to avoid. I think the brands that I use in particular, they don't use drying alcohols because honestly, why would you? It's not a preservative. You don't need it for anything. So, I mean, I'm going to move on from this one. It's just pretty much, do I avoid alcohols? No. So this one was random. For coily textures, wrap your hair to deep condition, leave it in for 15 minutes, and then make sure you rinse out all of the deep conditioner. And the difference here was like for wavy and curly, I think it was like you can leave in a little bit of the conditioner for a little bit of extra moisturization. I know that there's a couple of big YouTubers out there that do that. I don't remember anyone offhand, but what difference does it make? I actually do try to rinse out all of the deep conditioner, but I don't find that there's a problem if I don't. Yes, if you get deep conditioner on your scalp, it can cause itching, so you really want to get that out. But first of all, I don't wrap my hair because I don't think I could. I'd have to wrap it and then put it in like saran wrap or something, or get some kind of like head wrap, because my hair wouldn't stay because it's so many different lengths. There's no way that I could wrap it around my head. But it's a weird thing to tell you to do. Wash and goes as the recommended go-to style. I have never done a wash and go, so clearly I'm not adhering here. I may or may not try one in the summer of 2021, but I'm not quite there yet. To be honest, and I mentioned this before, I don't understand wash and goes. Like you apply like a cream and then you put some gel on it and then you expect your hair to just act right. My hair is so many different textures. I got some curlies in the back, but I also have like, I feel outside of like my twist out, I have no definition in the front of my hair. So I feel like I would have a really defined like, you know, what 4A, 4B, maybe even 3C in some sections. And then I have like 4C in some, and then it's just like, I feel like it would be a disaster. Plus, I don't really stretch my hair, and I feel like I would need to stretch my hair with a blow dryer. But you would need to use one of those like blow dryers. It just seems like so much work. I know that wash and goes are a lot quicker to do, but you know, I have no interest in that becoming my go-to style. My light just went out, sorry. Let's fast forward to a year from now when I'm doing wash and goes exclusively, but the question was, how much do I adhere in this first year fully natural? I don't do wash and goes. I'm really annoyed about the light. So that is that. Do I comply with most? I actually didn't take a tally, so I don't know. I comply where I do, I don't where I don't. The curly girl method is in recent years a lot more lax, but it's still a set of guidelines, and I feel like you should experiment and see what your hair doesn't like. I'm curious to hear if any of you are actually like staunch, like you have to follow this method people. Let me know in the comment section. That was that. And you know what? This could actually be a really fun tag. Maybe. So just gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna tag a few natural hair influencers to let us know how they either do or do not adhere to the curly girl method. I have listed the do's in the description box and will tag you all in the description box because I don't wanna just name some now and forget anyone, leaving anyone out. So everyone that I'm going to tag will be in the description box. That brings me to the end of this video. If you like my content and haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. Like, comment, and share, and I'll talk to you in my next one. Thanks, and have a good one.